If you change the oil, you're not going to get everything off. It's going to take several times to get everything out of there. That's my take.
Hey guys, Ed over here at FICMRepair. Repair. Hey, I appreciate you tagging me in this video. So, understand what's being said here. This is a film strength conversation. It totally is. And if you are using the wrong viscosity motor oil, if you're using a 0 weight when you should be using a 5 weight, or using a 5 weight when you should be using a 10 weight, or using a 10 weight when you should be using a 15 weight, recognize that that decision matters, and it matters immensely. There is a certain film strength required to keep metal surfaces away from each other. And that film strength does vary based upon manufacturer engine tolerances. So in the GM case, when they're talking about 0W20 versus 0W40 versus a 5W or whatever, recognize that of course those choices have bearing on the ultimate longevity of the motor. And if you don't realize the truth of that, it's just gonna end badly for you. It's kind of like Ford in, our favorite platform, the Power Stroke 6.0. If you go back to the 2003 manuals, they called for a 15W40. Period. It wasn't until later, several years later, when the manufacturer said, oh, well, hold it, just kidding. You can go ahead and run these other weights too. And now they have nice little pretty charts and say from this temperature to this temperature, it's okay to do this or this or this. But recognize that we need to have some personal responsibility here, and we need to say, hey, what is the weight oil that I want to run for the temperatures and the service life that I know I'm going to subject this individual motor to? And, it's real easy to say, yeah, I'm going to run a lighter weight oil because I'm going to get better fuel economy as a result. And, that's certainly a possibility. But the question is, better fuel economy at what price? And so if it's at the price of your engine, maybe you want to, no one's holding a gun to your head to say, thou shalt run a given viscosity motor oil because the manufacturer says X, Y, or Z, or A, B, or C, and waiting for a manufacturer to come to our defenses with a recall and all this kind of stuff, and Lord only knows what they're going to do in that recall. That only gets us so far. So please understand the rest of the story, as this gentleman was saying in this video here. Government intervention is absolutely a thing. The EPA's involvement is absolutely a thing. Motor longevity, well, we already know that story. Take a look at all of the videos that deal with, EPA mandates for this, that, and the other, and we can pretty quickly figure out, what is the underwriting and overriding concern with X, Y, or Z, or A, B, or C choice. So I would just tell anybody and everybody to be diligent and vigilant. And those two words mean different things, right? So, do your research, figure out what makes sense in your applications, and then strongly enact that and continue to strongly enact that and to run a good quality motor oil. We bang the drum on Schaefer's as a brand du jour for a reason. It's just a higher quality oil for any number of reasons. But regardless of that, viscosity numbers have serious play. So obviously a 0W oil is not going to behave the same as a 5 or a 10 or a 15. So how much protection do you really need, and when do you need it? And what are you willing to give up at cold starts, and how cold is cold for you? If the coldest you ever see is 45, 50 degrees, that's very different than the fellow who lives in North Dakota who's, seeing negative 40 Fahrenheit. Well, I guess negative 40, period, Fahrenheit or Celsius. So your mileage may vary. Have a larger understanding of the conversation here and move forward. FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together.